Okay, we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream, 7:35 p.m. It is the standard time for these live streams, which I haven't been doing in recent times during the week, but back again today. And the date, the 3rd of June. So the month of June in full swing already. And of course, Spain's tourist season about to kick off. I don't know whether it's this month or next month when the tourist season kicks off, but it is soon anyway. Looking at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press today in Spain, also yesterday, and some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers. We'll also have a look at the chat section, see what people are talking about in the chat section. So if you are watching live this evening, say hello in that chat section. Now, straight into the news, and as we know, the PSOE, the socialist side of the government, has proposed a new housing tax on people from outside the European Union. We saw at the time a proposed 100% tax on that investment. And there's an update on this story in the press today. As we can see here, the PSOE, or the Socialist Party's housing proposal, threatens to raise taxes on all types of property. A controversial housing bill proposed by Spain's PSOE party has sparked concern in the real estate sector due to plans to impose a new tax on property purchases by non-EU residents. The draft law, presented on the 22nd of May, aims to promote affordable housing by discouraging foreign buyers. However, legal experts warn that the proposal is vaguely worded and could unintentionally affect all types of properties, including commercial and industrial, not just housing. Article 4 of the bill appears to suggest the tax would apply to any real estate transaction involving non-EU individuals. The proposed state supplementary tax would target the sale of transfer of property rights and impose a 100% surcharge on the value of affected properties, potentially doubling purchase costs. Critics argue this could deter foreign investment and disrupt real estate markets far beyond the intended scope of promoting affordable rental housing for residents. So the question seems clear to me. Should the Spanish government stop intervening in the housing market and the rental market, just leave things, or at least come up with policies that are not going to affect people in a negative way by imposing a 100% tax on them, and also, as we saw here, probably won't have any impact on the housing market for residents. So that's the question. Maybe the government should concentrate on measures that will get the job done and satisfy locals in this country that want to buy property. We've seen various articles in recent times saying that they should do this, they should do that, they've done this, they shouldn't have done that, but nothing seems to be working and people can't get on the property ladder. And of course, if you can't get on the property ladder, what alternative do you have if you want to emancipate, move out of your parents' home? That is to rent. And of course, in big cities, that is also out of the question for many people, unless they're willing to rent a room in cities like Barcelona for close to €1,000, as we saw the other day. So the housing crisis here is serious. Let's hope the government gets serious about trying to tackle the problem and not coming up with international press-grabbing headlines like 100% tax on foreign property investments here. Let's hope. Second piece of news now, and bad news for Telefonica or Movistar users today, because the company is investigating a hack at that company, Movistar, that may have affected 22 million customer records. Telefonica is investigating a cyber attack on its Movistar brand, in which the hacker known as Dedali allegedly accessed up to 22 million customer records. A sample database containing 1 million records has already been leaked online. However, experts clarify that a single customer can generate multiple records, that is, name, ID number, and address, so the breach does not necessarily affect 22 million individual users. The leaked data appears to relate to customers in Peru, though there is concern that records from other countries, including Spain, may also be compromised. Telefonica confirmed the incident and stated that an internal investigation is ongoing. The breach was revealed shortly after Telefonica sold its struggling Peruvian subsidiary in April for approximately €900,000 to Argentina's Integra Tech International, with the unit currently under bankruptcy protection. The full scope and impact of the data theft are not yet clear, but the case has raised alarms over data security across Telefonica's operations. So there we go. Telefonica are investigating this data breach. 22 million records potentially affected, mainly in Peru. That's good news for Telefonica Spain customers. But as we said there, the scope could extend beyond Peru and affect people that use that company here in Spain, which, as we know, is the biggest telephone operator in the country still, even though there is plenty of competition around. Telefonica rules the roost with its Movistar brand, and potentially data being leaked there for nefarious reasons, of course, as we know. Third piece of news, and an update on the Amnesty law that the government passed earlier in the year, I think it was, or maybe late last year, to try and get Carles Puigdemont back in the country. He's not back yet because of other complications, but Spain's Constitutional Court yesterday justified that Sanchez enacted the amnesty for the general interest of the country, and it seeks to improve coexistence and social cohesion. Spain's Constitutional Court has defended Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez's amnesty law, arguing it serves the general interest by aiming to improve social cohesion and peaceful coexistence. In Catalonia, that is. The draft ruling, in response to a challenge by the Popular Party, states that such an exceptional measure is constitutional if it arises from extraordinary circumstances, is passed by Parliament, serves the public good, avoids arbitrariness, and does not violate fundamental rights. The proposed ruling supports the main elements of the law that grants amnesty for offences linked to Catalonia's 2017 independence referendum, known as the 1st of October. It emphasises that assessing the political intent behind legislation is beyond the court's role. The controversial law was key to Sanchez securing parliamentary support from Junts to continue as Prime Minister of Spain, making it highly significant politically. So there we go. The Constitutional Court saying that Pedro Sanchez's law is okay in their eyes. They can't really intervene. Of course, the opposition party, the Popular Party, wanted the court to intervene and perhaps take that law off the table so that Mr. Puigdemont couldn't walk scot-free for what happened on that day back in 2017 when that referendum, that illegal referendum, was called in Catalonia by the separatist parties that wanted to separate from Spain. Let's remember the reasons behind that. They wanted to break away, go their own way, calling that referendum, and of course Spain cracked down hard on them. Some people going to jail, Puigdemont fleeing the country, going into exile, which is basically a sham of an exile because he's been back in Spain since and wasn't arrested. So it's very strange for people outside the country and even people in this country to understand exactly what went on there. But the Constitutional Court, mainly because there are a lot of progressive judges in that Constitutional Court, according to the press that I read today, backing Mr. Pedro Sanchez on that decision. And the final piece of news here we'll look at now, and it is that two men linked to Glasgow crime clan were shot dead on the seafront promenade in Fuengirola at the weekend. Two Scottish men, Eddie Lyons Jr. and Ross Monaghan, both reportedly linked to the Glasgow crime clan, were shot dead late on Saturday night at an Irish pub terrace on the Rey de España promenade in Fuengirola, Costa del Sol. According to eyewitnesses, two hooded individuals exited the vehicle and opened fire at the bar, killing the two men instantly. The attackers are believed to be British based on witness descriptions. This shooting adds to a growing number of violent incidents involving firearms in the region in recent months. While Spain's central government and the Anti-Drug Prosecutor's Office have denied any significant rise in criminal activity along the Costa del Sol, concern continues to grow among locals. Authorities in towns like Marbella have been requesting an increased police presence for some time. The incident occurred in the Torreblanca district, raising further alarm in an area popular with both tourists and expatriates, or foreign residents, as some people prefer to say. So there we go, the Costa del Sol living up to its reputation as the Costa del Crime. Back in the 70s and 80s, of course, known as the Costa del Crime because of the amount of foreign criminals that were hiding out down there. And these two men allegedly linked to that Glasgow crime ring, I think it was called here, crime clan, shot dead while enjoying a Guinness, splitting the G in Fuengirola, Malaga. If splitting the G is a thing that Irish people do, I don't know. I know that it's popular with people here in Spain and around the world. But yeah, tragedy struck there. And of course, the gunman, also apparently British, according to eyewitness accounts. I wonder how they knew they were British. Maybe the colour of their skin, maybe the clothes they were wearing. I don't know. Maybe they had Union Jack tattoos on their arms. I don't know. But apparently British were the shooters, according to eyewitnesses. Costa del Crime again. Now we'll look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers, of course. This one here from Duncan. I was talking to a Spanish friend of mine about Mazón, the Generalitat, or the president of Valencia, and he made a good point. He won't quit because if he does, he'll lose his political immunity to prosecution. Only the two highest courts in the land can make a case against him, and that isn't likely to happen. And a lifetime salary, sueldo vitalicio, as it's known in Spanish, upon leaving office. Thanks, Duncan. I have heard this theory as well, that if Mazón were to step down, which obviously he should, given his role on that day back in October last year, but holding on like a tick to a kangaroo, as we say, not going anywhere. And yeah, probably because he doesn't want to be prosecuted. He wants to be above the law, and as a politician he is. There was also talk of a lateral movement, or maybe a some type of political move into the Spanish Senate as a PP senator. That would also see him immune from the justice system and would keep him out of the courts. But of course, the opposition parties are going for him. The court system will end up going for him one day. So I don't think he can hide forever. But that could be the plan, and the reason why he still holds his job after the political neglect and irresponsibility on the day in question and the subsequent days after the tragedy of the Dana in Valencia. People were missing. Mazón was missing in action, as they say, MIA. Another comment here from Essa H. When Western European purchase power settles in touristic Spain, it is obvious that demand steers supply, rentals, second homes, food services, etc. Thanks, Ezra, for the comment there. Yes, Western European purchase power. Somebody made the point today that here in Spain we have European prices but with Spanish salaries, and that for a lot of people is not a good thing, because people from the north of Europe come down here with higher pensions, higher purchasing power because of their higher salaries, and of course everything in Spain seems cheap to them, but locals get priced out. And that is one of the issues. And another friend of mine once said that cities like Madrid, the center of Madrid, if you know Madrid, around the main square, the Plaza Mayor, some of the markets that have been renovated, the prices that you pay in there are not reflective of the city. They're tourist prices, and of course, if a local person wants to go in there and enjoy a drink or a tapa or something to eat, they've got to pay those prices, and you can go 2 kilometers or 2 k's away from that centre and pay completely different prices. But it is what it is when you live in a country where the population doubles with the amount of tourists every year. One here from Patricia. If you can't afford it, tough. You can't come. I can't afford to go to Dubai, so I can't go. Thanks, Patricia. Yep, summing up in a fairly short comment here. If you can't afford it, bad luck. Tough. Can't come. She can't afford to go to Dubai, so doesn't go. And that's basically a philosophy that a lot of people should follow. If you can't afford to go on a holiday, don't go. Don't complain that it's too expensive. Don't go, or go somewhere that you can afford to go to. Like we saw here during the crisis years, 2008 to 2015, people holidaying again in the pueblo, going back to their roots where they spent their childhoods. Because, let's be honest, people didn't used to travel like they travel now. Travel has become almost as common as brushing your teeth, a couple of times a day. People feel the need to do it all the time. It's become an industry that is, in some people's eyes, out of control. People traveling around the world for whatever reason. Whereas before, people used to have simple holidays. They were simpler times. Some people would like them to come back. Some people would not. Where do you sit on the matter? Let me know in the comment section below. One here from Cascos. Politicians are to blame for not ruling out this conundrum, not the visitors. Thanks for the comment there, Cascos. Yep, people would agree with you that politicians are to blame for the problems that we have not only here in Spain with the housing crisis and the anti-tourism movement, which seems to be getting a louder voice each year. The same people are behind it. I was reading an article yesterday where one of the main organisers is from Italy. Don't know what that person is doing, stirring up the anti-tourism movement here in Spain, but probably the same people that join any protest at any time they can to stir up problems. I would say that is the case. And of course, lots of people jumping on that bandwagon because they feel that they're missing out on the tourist boom. But politicians could have nipped the Airbnb situation in the bud, but it was out of their control for a long, long time. And of course, now they are trying to implement policies that are having a negative effect on the situation. Some people would argue rather than a positive effect. And of course, not getting it right again. But of course, as we know, kick that can down the road and it becomes someone else's problem. If there's a can in the street and I kick it in front of my neighbour's house, it's not my problem anymore, right? It's his. So that's the philosophy. One here from Craddock. The centre of Malaga is now ruined. Endless tacky souvenir shops, really tacky jewellery stores. Who buys this expensive rubbish? And lockers stores. Traditional shops are being pushed out and the heart is gone now. And also the traditional Spanish tourists are no longer here to enjoy the bars and cafes. So sad. Thanks, Craddock. I haven't been to Malaga for a while, so I can't say whether what you're saying here is true or not, but I'll take your word for it. Malaga is one of those cities when the cruise ships come in, thousands of people go into the city, and of course that's the type of shop that they're buying in nowadays. These are souvenir shops that are popping up around the place. Other types of convenience stores for the short-term traveller, and the traditional bars and restaurants where the local or the Spanish tourists used to go, no longer there anymore. As I said, don't know, haven't been to Malaga for a while, so can't confirm, but I've seen it in other places, so I'll say that it's true as well. And the final comment here from Joaquin. Spaniard here, funny Spanish slang, no tenemos nada. Ha ha ha. It should be no tenemos nada, meaning we have nothing left, but you did it very well. You were right. Thanks, Joaquin, for the compliment on my Spanish. No tenemos nada, which you will hear people saying, shortening the words in some parts of the country, but even in other parts of the country as an expression, no tenemos nada, or no tenemos nada. But you are right, yeah, the full expression is no tenemos nada. We don't have anything, or we have nothing left, would be the translation to that. So my Spanish is coming along. I think I've been practicing it in recent times, hopefully to get up to a level sufficient to live in this country comfortably. A lot of people have said that my Spanish is shocking. Y para esta gente, solo una cosa para decir, vete a tomar por saco. Vete a tomar por saco. For those people that are criticizing my Spanish. A ver si os entendéis. Nos entendemos, perdón. Now, that's the end of the live stream. Hopefully I haven't insulted too many people. And we'll go into the chat section in just a moment. the live chat section. Before I do, I have to change the backdrop picture. We can see it on the back screen here in the blurred out version, not to distract people's attention. But this is the unblurred version here. And it is a place in Murcia, a place called Cabo de Palos. And I was there recently in that part of Spain, and a lovely picture sent through here by Jorgen, I think it was the person who sent it through, Jorgen. Cabo de Palos. Not sure whether Jorgen is a resident in Murcia or just passing through, but Cabo de Palos, very close to the La Manga area, La Manga del Mar Menor, and a lovely photo here of the beachfront here. Is it a beach? Don't know if I can see any beach there, but the house is very close to the water. Lovely part of the country. And a nice restaurant I went to as well, I will say. So thank you very much, Jorgen. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I went on to Forvo to check the pronunciation there, but there was a difference between the Danish pronunciation and the Norwegian pronunciation. So I don't know which one to go with there, but hopefully I'm close. If I'm not, correct me. Yeah, and if you've got a similar picture you'd like to see on the backdrop, spainspeaks@gmail.com is the email address. Up there it is. Feel free to send your photos through to that address. Plenty have been coming through in recent times. I'll get around to using them. And even if I don't put out a live stream, I'll be using the photos on the backdrop in a similar way that I have here. And I can also tell people who sent the photo in. So keep them coming, Spain Speaks. And also other information, if you want to send it my way, anything about Spain, feel free. spainspeaks@gmail.com is the email address. Big thanks to people that have supported the channel in recent times. Thank you very much. People that have given a super thanks or a super chat here on the live streams. People that have bought me a coffee. You've got the QR code up there that can help you do that. Patreon, longer-term supporters on there. Thank you very much for that as well. And also the channel members here on the YouTube channel, people that show their support every month. And helps keep the channel growing and helps me make more videos. So thank you very much for that support. Greatly appreciated. And also the like icon, if you haven't hit it yet, please do so. Currently sitting at 46 likes. So if you can hit the like button just below the video, you will find the like icon. If you're watching on a computer, on your phone, of course, you'll find it easily. And on the televisions, I think, which, as I've mentioned, quite a lot of people watching on television sets nowadays, obviously through the YouTube app. You'll have to go into the settings, I think, to find the like icon. But do us a favor and hit that like icon, please. Now, into the chat section, as I mentioned. Now, let me open it up here, if I can find it. There we go. Janet is the first person that I can see here. Regular viewer, of course, is Janet, and a channel member with that little yellow sign next to her name there. Hello from Oxford. Sorry, you have a cold, Theo Al. So Al has obviously mentioned that he's got a cold. Hope you get over it soon. My husband and I had a horrid one a week or so ago. Yeah, allergies, colds, bad time of the year for a lot of people, Janet. Allergies this year, next level. I don't know the reason. Maybe it's all of the rain that we've had. No idea, but allergies playing up for a lot of people at the moment, myself included. Sani's in the chat. Good evening, everyone. Looking forward to flying to Valencia tomorrow. Good luck with that trip, Sani. Hope all goes well. Al, here we go. You were saying the feria is spelt like this, not feria. I thought that was the case, Al, but I didn't know which word you were trying to go for, so I thought it was feria. Suffering a summer cold this spring, 21 degrees in El Puerto de Santa Maria. Hope you get over your cold, Al. Nothing worse than a summer or spring cold. Barbara, valued member 2, coming in from the Playa Flamenca, 25 degrees there. Thanks, Barbara. Lovely weather, of course, 25 degrees Celsius. Oscar, coming in from Houston, Texas. Good to see you, Oscar. Hope all is well where you are, there in the south of the USA. Carmen also saying here that in Catalan you can say Fira for Fada. Years ago I stayed at the Fira Barcelona Hotel. Hope that's the pronunciation there with that one, Fira. Andrew, valued member 2, coming in. Good evening, Stuart and all. Hope you're having a good start to the month. Bright, from cold but bright London southeast. Thanks, Andrew. Janet saying, in comments on other videos, it seems there are loads of Spanish citizens with second homes. In the UK, these attract extra taxes. Does this happen in Spain? As far as I know, Janet, it doesn't mean that you pay extra taxes if you've got a second home. Of course, you're going to be paying housing tax and things like that. I don't know whether it affects your income tax negatively or not, which is probably what you're saying there. It does in the UK. But it is true that a lot of the homes that you'll see, especially in the coastal areas of Spain, go to a city like Torrevieja, for example, the amount of second homes owned by people from Madrid, from other parts of the the other central parts of Spain, the Castillas, that go to places like that because it's the closest holiday area to where they live, and it's was cheap to buy in a place like that back in the day. So lots of people bought a second home in places like that. And but then again, as we mentioned last week, Torrevieja is not somewhere where people, young people especially, want to live because there's no jobs there. It's a place for second home residents in the summer, and also YouTubers, it seems, because I've never seen so many YouTubers coming out of the town of Torrevieja or the surroundings. It's unbelievable, some of the content coming out of that part of Spain. Antonio's in the chat here too. Hello, Stuart. This 2025, tourists in Spain are going to be around 100 million. I've loved your video about it, but tourists are very, very welcome here. They helped us improve 60 years ago. We love them. Thanks, Antonio. Yeah, I get the impression that the majority of people here don't have an issue with tourism. It's a small group of people, as I said before, maybe people that protest about everything. Tourism one day, something else the next. And I was listening to the radio that I listen to in the morning. I listen to podcasts from Australian radio stations, and the city of Barcelona was mentioned, and 3 or 4 people said immediately, don't go to Barcelona. They don't want you there. They're going to squirt water in your face. They're going to make your life uncomfortable. So Barcelona is getting a bad rap, and it will have an impact on the city negatively in times to come. And what they get up to this year, these protesters, because as I mentioned yesterday, they want to take it to a new level, because they say that if we don't take it to another level, no one's going to sit and listen to us. So we'll see what happens this year, and I imagine that these protests might turn ugly. I don't know. Hopefully they won't, but they might do. I don't know. Alcalá de Henares correspondent Dave is in the chat. Hola, Stu y todos. Hope everyone's having a great day. Looking like rain where Dave is there in Alcalá de Henares. Yeah, I think it's a bit stormy, Dave. I've seen some rain clouds looming on the horizon, so it might be raining here too, considering that where you are and where I am here is really not that far away. By car, it's a bit of a distance, but if you went straight across, you'd get there easily. Charlie, if the PSOE can keep Spanish real estate in the hands of EU residents, that sounds like it will help the housing market for locals. Yeah, that's another issue, of course. You can't stop Europeans from buying property here. And you go to some of the coastal places in Spain now, and there's huge Dutch populations, Belgian populations, Norwegians, lots of people moving down to those warmer climates, of course. Bad PR for Movistar, Spain's only truly Spanish telecom company. Thanks, Charlie. Not the first time they've had a data leak, I don't think. I could be wrong. If I am, I apologise, but I don't think it's the first. Ryan's in the chat here too. Hola, Stu. I asked the question last live stream about the name of the song used. I was referring to the guitar solo in your Jerez video. Yeah, as I said, Ryan, I get the music off YouTube in the Creator Studio. The song in question, I don't know. I'll see if I can find it, but it's just a, as I said, like a stock song, if you like, that's available for people that make videos. So I'll see if I can find it, but I don't think you'll be able to find it outside. Maybe the person that did it, you'll be able to find them. They might have a Spotify account or something like that. So I'll look into it. Send me an email. I might be able to get back to you that way. James, Spain for Spaniards. Why is that a problem? Don't know. Why'd you bring it up, James? Why'd you bring it up? Spain can be a sunny place for shady people. Thanks, Dave. I think in the past people could find a certain level of anonymity in the Costa del Sol. But, yeah, I don't know about nowadays. But I have heard that there are lots of dodgy characters operating down there because of the lucrative trades that they deal in. Let's have a look here. Charlie's saying, if you can't have a vacation in Spain as part of the Scottish Mafia, what can you do? Well, I don't think you expect to come down to Spain, Charlie, have a Guinness, split the G, and get riddled with bullets on one of these terraces in Fuengirola. I don't know. Maybe they were doing some dodgy business in that part of Spain. No idea. I'm sure the authorities will get to the bottom of it. But, yeah, you wouldn't want to be sitting at the table next to them, that's for sure. Just in case one of those bullets went stray and knocked over your glass of beer. You wouldn't be happy. Charlie coming in from Rota in Cádiz. Good to see you, Charlie. Johnny coming in from a drizzly and cool San Diego, California. Nicola is coming in from the sunny Alpujarras. Renan coming in from LA, another US viewer, warm there too. Brad's missed a lot, had guests, too busy drinking and cooking. Good luck to you, Brad. Enjoy with your friends there, drinking and cooking. Patricia, we saw a comment before from her, I think. Watching the replay, missing the live stream. We'll catch up later. Joan coming in. Is the Airbnb ban immediate? We've paid for half our Madrid Airbnb for our visit to family in September. Fingers crossed it doesn't disappear. No, I don't think it's going to disappear unless it's one of those illegal ones, Joan. If it's one of those illegal tourist rentals, and I don't know if Airbnb has illegal rentals or not. I know they're out there somewhere. How you find them, I've got no idea. But there was something like 16,000 illegal short-term rents in Madrid, according to the ministry, the consumer ministry, I think. But, yeah, I wouldn't worry about that, Joan. September's just around the corner. I don't think anything's going to change anytime soon. Gigi coming in from Ponferrada. The skies have cleared. The evening's lovely. Enjoying some local wine and cheese. Good wine in that part of Spain, Gigi, I will say. Have a glass on me. Or for me, I should say, not on me. Brad, Malaga has become a great city, cleaned up, recommended, says Brad. So not listening to what we saw before, who said that the centre of Malaga has basically become like Disneyland. Brad saying, my Spanish is great. Yeah, well, tell that to the people who write comments, Brad. I have never had a problem with my Spanish. If somebody understands me, fantastic. If somebody doesn't, who knows? Who cares? That's it. What else we got going on here? Alfredo's just saying, ha, 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 ha. Don't know what that's related to. Mar Menor, I think that is the Mar Menor, Brad. Or maybe it's the Atlantic side there. I think Cabo de Palos is on the Mediterranean side, I think. Could be wrong. A fancy coastal area of Murcia. Yeah. My Spanish would do just fine in Mexican Texas. Yeah, I'd love to go to the States and practice the old Espanol there with the Mexicans and the other Spanish speakers in the US. Maybe have to modify the accent, not speak with the change it. What else? Charlie's saying here that you can get Spanish lessons one-on-one with native speakers for €10 an hour. He takes 2 a week, does Charlie. There we go. Cheap as chips, Charlie. David, looking forward to coming to Madrid, visiting Madrid in a couple of weeks for their silver wedding anniversary. Thanks, David, for that. Hope all goes well with that trip. Enjoy. Big event, silver wedding anniversary. And hopefully it won't be too hot. Temperatures are going back up next week, so we'll see. Allergies terrible this year in Oregon as well. Don't know what's going on, Osu. Don't know. What else we got going on? Saying here, Osu, is that headed to Spain in September, and multiple people in the US also saying don't go to Barcelona. Yeah, well, Barcelona is getting a bad rap. All those protests that are going on. Canary Islands probably going to get a bad rap as well. But anyway, Movistar in 02 had a breach in 2021, so I was right. They did have a breach. Mark is saying that holidays in the Pueblo can be fantastic. Lazy days, no stress with a big journey there and back, all conveniences of home, good food, some wine, relaxing with friends and family. Genial. Absolutely, Marcus. Nothing wrong with a holiday in the old Pueblo, but people want something more than that because, let's be honest, the old Instagram photos of the Pueblo, sometimes not going to get many likes of the municipal swimming pool. So you want to go somewhere a little bit exotic, maybe. Maybe the Mar Menor. A little bit exotic. Lots of differences in Mexico. What's that? Regarding the language, Brad? Don't know. Jose saying here that Spanish can also be heard in Florida, Miami, Tampa, and other towns. I imagine so, Jose. I imagine so. Cars are caros, not coches. I think it's with 2 R's, Brad, I would say, because otherwise coches sí son caros, pero los carros no son caros. Does that make sense? I don't know. But I think it's with 2 R's, Brett. I could be wrong if I am. And also Barcelona es una porquería. Again, one word, porquería. One word. What else? Bronny saying here, Buenas tardes, Stu. Currently a cool 13 degrees Celsius with showers here in South Wales. Enjoying the live stream. Best wishes, Bronny. And Charlie quiere un carro caro. There we go. That's the Spanish lesson for today. Quiero un carro caro. Going to wrap it up. Been a pleasure as always. Antonio liking the comment about caros and carros. And I'll be back again on Thursday, maybe. If I can't put a video out, a live stream out on Thursday, there'll be another one on Sunday, but there'll be a video coming out on Tuesday, but I can't guarantee it'll be a live stream. Charlie wishing that they could do the R sound or the R sound, which is a difficult one. Difficult one to get out, the R sound. Carro, perro. It's difficult, I must say. Jimbo saying talk soon, showing the New South Wales Blues logo there because of their state of origin win over the Queensland team. And Gold Geologist saying nor and humid is probably hot and humid in San Antonio. Also Spanish in Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California. All of those Spanish names, right? Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California. Those Spanish names. Related to what I said before, Vete a tomar por saco. Yes. Heard that a few times. Eating local honey will help with your allergies. Yeah, I have to take out a mortgage to buy local honey nowadays, Dave. So cheap supermarket honey is all I can afford. Probably not helping my allergies, but I'll see if I can talk to the bank manager to buy some local honey. And hasta luego, says Lope, Oscar. So that's what I'll do. Hasta luego. Until the next one. It's been a pleasure as always. Hasta luego. Adios. Bye-bye. See you later.